Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Fold Line. I'm back this week with a new video and I'm in a new location this week because you know this time of year where the sun is so bright. I can't film in my usual sewing room because I literally look like I have the gateway to heaven next to me. So I filmed the whole video and looked at it and I looked mad. I looked like, you know, the angels were coming to get me. So I have moved location, so I'm up in my living room. I'm sorry if it's a little bit echoey. A girl's got to do what a girl's got to do, so I'm sorry. It's nearly Christmas, guys. It's pretty exciting. I've got a little bit of, you can see up there, a little bit of Christmas going on. Haven't gone big. But yes, so anyway, I'm getting distracted. New sewing pattern releases. We've decided to combine November and December because it's always quite quiet in December, and that's why it's coming to you sort of halfway through the month. I've got some really lovely patterns. November was an absolute bumper month. There are so many new releases. It was, I mean, enormous. So anyone who wants to see all of them, there's a link down below to a blog post with everything, but I'm going to talk through 2, 4, 6, 8 of my favorites. And yes, let's get going. Oh, no, I'm wearing what I'm wearing. This is what I wore to our Christmas party. I wanted something that I felt kind of comfortable in, not too full on. And this is just a mini hack of the ready to sew jazz jumpsuit, which I made in the summer. I actually made the dress version and I really like the top of it, so I decided to make a top version. So yeah, here it is with little bell sleeves. Anyone who saw my spoonflower video, this is the fabric from there. And yeah, so I just extended it to make it into a little top. Obviously I probably wouldn't wear it with jeans. I have a pair of snazzy trousers to wear it with. Right, so let's get going. The thing I'm going to start with first, anyone who hasn't made Christmas presents as yet, I'm with you, but I thought this could be a nice thing for Christmas presents, but also a really nice thing to gift yourself and make over the festive season. It's the larger dressing gown from Name Clothing. That was such bad pronunciation. Laha. Anyone who knows how to say it, just let me know down below. This is really great. It's quite a simple pattern. It's not going to take you too long. I've seen lots of there are quite a few kimono semi-dressing gowns out there, but this is like your classic dressing gown. The other great thing about this is there's an option for men and women, so there's 2 options. So you can, if you want to make something and gift it to someone, then you could do that as well. In terms of the construction, it's got a classic, you know, the band around the front, 2 patch pockets, a tie around the waist. I mean, your classic. I thought in terms of fabrics, there's loads of lovely things you can do. I mean, if you want to go super snuggly, you could do a fleece or one of those like minky down fabrics. You know the one I mean, the kind of don't go near an open flame but feel amazing ones. But they've made it actually in a really nice sort of linen, and I think it would be great. You could have a winter version and a summer version. I mean, we all have winter and summer wardrobes. We should surely have that with our dressing gowns as well, for sure. Yeah, I just thought it was a nice one if you haven't done all your Christmas making yet. Trying to be cool about it. Anyway, next up we have got the Joe jacket from Ready to Sew. This is a classic tailored jacket, so this is a bit more of an involved make. I would say this is probably intermediate. It's fully lined as well. So the features of the jacket are, it's got princess seams at the front and back, so that is really great for fit. It's got welt pockets with a little flap as well, which you can, I guess, yeah, little flap. Sorry, my laptop's here. And it also has a 2-piece sleeve. So in terms of kind of classic tailoring, it's kind of got everything. I really like this. I think this is really nice. The model shots, you will see that they're quite, what's the word? It's fit-wise, they've made it quite a relaxed fit, and I think that works really well for this pattern. yeah, I just think it's a nice one, and I think if you want to take on something a bit more full on next year, I think this could be a really nice option for you. So next we have got, yes, I was really excited to see this. So these are the Eames, I think I'm gonna go Eames jeans from Cashmerette. To be honest, when I saw that she'd released a jeans pattern, I was like, oh, you know, there are a few jeans patterns out there. But actually, I went and had a look, and what she's done I think is really, really clever. So she has done 2 cuts for the jeans. So one is for a classic pear shape, which is proportionally your bottom is bigger than your shoulders. And one for an apple shape, which is where you have less definition in your waist. You're kind of straight down from your kind of round your chest area. I think this is really clever because tends to be, and I'm generalizing here, pear-shaped you tend to have a bigger bottom, and apple-shaped you tend to have a flatter bottom. So in terms of doing these 2 cuts, you're covering a huge proportion of like women. And I just think it's really clever to have 2 cuts because actually they are completely different shapes and they both need completely different fit options for them. So I thought this was really clever. It also comes with 2 options for the legs, so you can do a straight leg or a flared leg. I've seen them online. Everyone who's made them loves them, and Cashmerette is really making a name for herself. She specialises, if you haven't come across her, in plus size patterns, and I think she does it really well. Like, she seems to have nailed this part of the market, and everyone who's made stuff with her says it's amazing. So in terms of trust wise, I think doing a pair of jeans at this point in her kind of pattern releases is really clever because everyone is kind of trusting of her and ready to take on a big project with her. In terms of the sizing, it starts at a UK size 12 and goes up to a UK 28. So yeah, everyone's included, which is really nice. Right. So that's a pair of trousers. Next up, I've got actually the Prudence dress by Colette. They actually sent us the pattern, and if you haven't got their new pattern with the packaging, it's beautiful. I don't actually have it up here, which is very handy, but trust me, beautiful packaging. This was the first dress item from Colette in a while that I was like, oh, this is really interesting and really exciting. Like, I kind of want to do it. I think this is such a nice shape, and I think this will look great on most body types. So it's got this really lovely sort of high neckline which swoops down at the front, so you're showing a little bit of flesh but not too much. It's got these kind of white, they're kind of like kimono sleeves, but they kind of go down over your shoulders. It's got bust darts, and it has, they're just waist darts actually, sorry. They're just waist darts. And then in the skirt, it's got these 2, they look like they're box pleats, so at the front, which is great because basically it will skim over everything. And I think that sort of shape is really flattering. I like that it has got excess fabric in the skirt, but it's not kind of full skirted. It's kind of a bit more grown up. I just think it's a really, really interesting pattern. There's interesting cut. It also has got shaping into the collar, which is really nice. So it means that depending on because interesting, lots of people have very different shaped necks. So this means that you can actually make it work for you. I just think it's really lovely. I think personally, I prefer the longer version, and you can add a slit into that if you want to make it a little bit more kind of sassy. But yeah, if you haven't made your party dress for New Year's Eve, I think this could be a good one, a good classic. Yeah, I really like it. So win-win from me. Sizing from this, so UK 4 up to a UK 30. So yeah, it's a big size range, and I think Colette are really good at doing that, which is great. In terms of fabrics, I think you need drapey for this. I feel like you need like a rayon or a crepe or Cupro, as I've bought some Cupro recently and I'm completely obsessed with it. Yes, right, next we have got the Ester pants from Victory Patterns. it's not often that you see trousers that are really interesting, exciting, and you're like, how's that pattern cut? What's going on there? And if you haven't come across her yet, you should go and check her out, because she's got really interesting, beautiful patterns. They've all got some sort of clever twist. She does do a lot of like interesting things with pleating and overlapping. I just love her stuff. I think she's kind of one of the people out there that I'm always, whenever I see a release, I'm always excited, because there's always something really interesting in there. These trousers are amazing. So they have got these two sort of overlapping pleats at the front. The thing that I find really interesting in terms of a pattern cutting thing is they also have seams down the centre front. I don't know why that is, but I'd quite like to see the pattern so I could work out why. They've got pockets as well, and they fasten with a zip at the centre back, which I really like that in terms of trousers, having a zip at the back. Kind of no fuss, quite flattering. Yeah, I just think this is a really lovely pattern. I think they're really interesting. I definitely, again, sorry, I know it's mid-December, but I'm just thinking about parties all the time. But I thought these would be a really cool way of actually doing something like quite dressy in a trouser, and wearing trousers, not having to wear a dress. I've seen quite a few of them on Instagram. They look really nice. Yeah, I think it's a cracker, and I definitely check out her stuff if you haven't. Right, next is the tuck sleeve top from Trend Patterns. So Trend Patterns is a UK-based pattern company. Lucy, who runs it, has worked in the fashion industry her whole life, and you can really tell that from her pieces. She does really interesting pattern cutting, and I always love seeing her patterns, because they're really interesting, and you always look at them and think, oh God, how does she construct that? How's it done? And this was my favourite from her new collection. So she released a collection last month, it must have been last month. And I just love this top. I think it's so cool. I feel like I sound really uncool when I say cool. Anyway, it's cool. So the top has, it's quite simple in terms of the bodice part of the construction. It's got a seam just around your waistline. It's got darts either side, so it's quite nice. It is quite fitted and nice for shaping. The piece de resistance is the sleeves, and as we know, this year it has been all about the sleeves. I'm sure it's going to continue into next year. So it's got these really amazing sort of like, they're quite exaggerated sleeves, but it has this panel that sort of tucks into the side seam, and I think it's just beautiful. I love the fabric that she's made it in. I can see it's quite structured, and I think it would work, and it looks really lovely tucked into something. So I think if I was making this top, I would make it and have something high-waisted tucked into it, and it would look beaut. You could actually probably do the ester pants and tuck that in. That would be quite a cool outfit. I just think it's really interesting. It seems to have some shaping around the shoulders. Sorry, I'm just looking at it. Yes, it's got these, so it's got a raglan sleeve, and then it's got this kind of pleat at the shoulder, and then this big kind of bit that wraps round and goes into the side seam. I just think it's really interesting, and I love seeing patterns that I can't work out how they're put together. So this is another one, and yeah, I think this could be a really nice one if you want to make something kind of dramatic. And also, if you did it in something really like soft, like you could actually, it could be a really nice summer blouse as well. If you're in Australia and it's warm at the moment, I think you could do something in a really lightweight fabric, and this could be really interesting, especially the mix of doing it something almost sheer so you could see where the folds are. I think it would look really, really nice. Right, up next. Oh, this was probably one of my favourites from last month. So this is the Iske shirt dress from Marilla Walker. She is a UK-based designer, and I really love her stuff. As a body shape, I'm quite pear-shaped, and all her stuff is really flattering if you're pear-shaped. And this shirt dress I thought was really interesting and really flattering. I'm always on the hunt for a shirt dress, but I quite like ones that are a bit more of a relaxed fit, and all of her stuff that she makes is quite relaxed fit. So this is a cracker. In terms of construction, it's got a kind of classic shirt at the top. Let me just pull up the line drawing so I can just confirm that I'm getting it right. It's got these really interesting, so instead of having bust darts or waist darts, it's got these two seam lines that run down to the placket at the front. So you can get your shaping in that way, which is, I think, really clever pattern cutting. The skirt bit, it has got, so from here to here, it's got little ruffles, and then it's got these kind of exaggerated pockets, which are super flattering if you have a bit of a tummy. You get the gathering at the front that skims over anything you don't want anyone to see, and pockets. I mean, who doesn't want pockets in a dress? On the back, it's got these really nice little seams as well, which is really interesting. The other version of it is a sort of, it's like almost like a deconstructed shirt dress, and it's got a sort of tie at the side, and it's quite interesting. So I'll pop it's quite hard to explain it, so I'll pop the line drawing so you can have a look at it. But yeah, I think they're both really interesting, and I like having two options with a pattern because you feel like getting good value for money. Right, so next we have got, a men's pattern, because we never have them, and I thought this was a really lovely one. So this is the Far Far men's classic cardigan from Wardrobe by Me. Again, last minute, like, if you haven't made a Christmas present, this could be great for a boyfriend, a dad, a brother, a husband. I really love the shape. It's a real classic men's shape. I actually think I'd quite like it for me. I think it would be nice for girls as well. It's got a placket that runs all the way down the centre front and then up round here. Buttons down the front, patch pockets. It's made in jersey, so you could make it in, if you wanted it, you could do it in a lighter weight jersey if you want it just to go over a t-shirt if it's quite warm, but you could also do it in a sweatshirting, it would look really nice, and also a kind of wool rich, like a merino jersey would be amazing in that. So yeah, I think this is a really nice one, and it comes, let's have a look. Yeah, it's quite a relaxed fit, so it's got 6 inches ease in the chest, so that's quite a lot. So actually, if you were a girl and wanted to make it, if there's 6-inch ease around the chest / bust, it would definitely probably fit a girl as well. So yeah, I just thought this was a really nice one, and it's nice to have a bit of the occasional men's patterns in there for good measure. Yeah, just a goodie. So last but not least, we have got another one with a really interesting name that I'm not going to be able to pronounce. It's the Hemispheric coat from Pauline Alice. This was released a couple of weeks ago. So I really like this. It's quite an interesting in terms of the construction and the fit. The main reason I put it in is because there have been lots and lots of coat release patterns recently, but there haven't been many coat release patterns that are sort of fit and flare. There have been lots which are quite boxy in shape, and I know that a lot of people have said, you know, I love boxy but it doesn't suit me. So I thought I'd put this in because actually it's nice to have something that you can, you know, make really fitted and then have a kind of a bigger. I think this shape is, like the fit and flare generally, is more flattering on more types of bodies. So this was an interesting and really interesting sort of cut and construction. So it has got raglan sleeves that go up. It's got a high collar. It's got they're kind of princess seams, but they start from the bust. So I would imagine that they are almost like a giant dart if you're constructing them. They must be. Oh no, but there's a little. So yeah, they're like princess seams that go all the way down to the bottom, and then there's got this little like cross seam here, which must be where they've added the shaping to go over your bust, which is quite interesting. The back is really lovely, so it's got this sort of like, the raglan goes into one piece and joins at the centre back, which is really cool. I just think it's quite an interesting cut and interesting shape, and I think you could definitely make it your own for sure. I'll put in some pictures so you can see. It's kind of quite futuristic. The only thing I think I would probably do as a personal thing is that in her construction she's got it with I don't know if it's a zip or buttons down the front, but they're hidden, there's a placket over the top. I think I'd quite like to see the fastenings for this shape, so that would be my personal like tweak on it. But yeah, I just thought this was really nice, and yeah, it's nice to have a coat in there as it's so cold outside. Right, whew, done. So I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you go and check out the blog post, because there's, I mean, so many patterns that I couldn't talk about this time. And we will be back soon with another video. Last one before Christmas, everyone. I hope you're enjoying lots of parties and going out and getting to wear some handmade stuff as well. I know there's always the pressure to be making handmade things to wear out. So yeah, hang in there, everyone. The finish line is not far away. Bye.